Brain injuries are seen very often in my practice. I've worked on brain injury cases several times a year for the last 20 years. Brain injury cases are very unique in that often you have what's called a coup or counter-coup effect. The brain is a very soft, gelatinous type of a substance that sits in a liquid, and when it's hit in a car accident, in a slip and fall, in a boating accident, in any type of impact, the brain will actually go from side to side and bang against one side of the head, coup, and against the other side of the head, counter-coup. And you end up with brain injuries. The average person thinks of a brain injury as being something that causes a person not to be able to walk and talk ever again. And I've represented those patients. It's very sad. When a person is locked into their own body, they're aware of everything in their surrounding, but they can't move, they can't talk, they can't take care of themselves. And I've had the privilege and the honor to represent such an unfortunate man and his family in the past. But we also see injuries very often where the damages are more subtle. The person has problems with memory. The person has problems with concentration. The person has problems finding words. Maybe they have impulse control problems because the behaviors of impulse are mediated in the frontal lobes of the brain. It only takes a subtle bruise, a certain amount of shearing or tearing of the fibers of the brain in those areas to cause these types of problems. Man still walks, man still talks, man can still try to hold down a job, but the man can't control his impulses. Maybe he's a normal man and suddenly he's violent. Maybe he's a normal man, but suddenly he can't remember what he's doing. He gets lost on his way to work. He can't hold his job. We have handled these. I have handled these cases many, many, many times over the last 20-plus years. I'm familiar with the various experts who deal with this. Neurologists, sometimes neurosurgeons, sometimes neuropsychologists. There's an entire battery of very well-defined tests which professional doctors give to help determine not only do you have the problem, but in what parts of your brain. And then you need to have a neurologist that can take the films and the studies and demonstrate that that's the part of the brain that shows signs of injury. Brain injury cases are very important because the brain is the most important thing we have. You could cut off a man's arm, it's terrible, but he's going to be able to live his life. You take a man's brain away, you take a woman's brain away, you take a child's brain away, you take away their ability to think and feel and to behave the way they used to. You've taken away their soul. And that's something that's very serious.